The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Get ready to be amazed. Get ready to know things that are usually unknowable. Get ready for an hour of insight and fascinating entertainment with Dr. Linda Salvin. For nearly 3 decades, Dr. Linda has been one of America's most celebrated psychic readers, metaphysical clinicians, and unmatched talk show hosts, bringing insights and solutions to thousands of people worldwide. Pull up a chair, turn it up, and get ready for a visit with the one and only Dr. Linda. And now, live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Salvin.
Hi, welcome back. It's another day on the Starlight Cafe. I'm Dr. Linda Salvin. I host 3 shows a week. I've been doing radio broadcasting since 1994, which is almost 30 years. And on Thursdays, I do my spiritual metaphysical show as opposed to the Health and Wellness on Tuesday with Sharon Winters and the recovery show from addiction on Wednesday with Candy Finnegan. And sometimes I have you call in or text or message, whatever it is. I miss the call-in shows because that's what I'm used to doing, is interacting. But feel free to chat, ask questions. I have an amazing guest as usual. You're going to love this one. This woman, her name is Alner. Alner came to me after seeing me on another show, but she had seen me prior on TV from one of the shows I've done in the past 30 years. But she came to me with a very unusual situation. Yes, I channel. I'm a psychic, I'm a healer, and I'm a medium. A psychic sees, predicts, hears clairvoyantly, sees clairaudiently you hear, clairvoyantly you see, clairsentient you feel. And then the healing that I do, metaphysical healing, is where I remove blocks and obstacles that are lodged of emotion that's lodged within the body of somebody. So in your liver, kidney, spleen, bladder, it can be the penis, the vagina, the ears, the eyes, the throat, the bones, like the clavicle in your neck. It can be anywhere in your body that you hold emotion. And my job is to target that, remove it, and find your peace and get you back into health. That's metaphysics. It was a gift given to me in 1991 after I had some major surgery. And for those that don't know the story, I became psychic after surviving a plane crash in 1981. So here we are, 2023, and after like 40 years of indoctrination and change and growth and practice and radio, TV, private clients, writing a book, being written up in articles, you can Google me, I'm out there. And be sure to go to my YouTube station or channel, actually, and subscribe so that you know that these shows are there for you live at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and every other hour between wherever you are on the planet. But subscribe to Dr. Linda Salvin on YouTube. You can always go to Dr. Linda Radio, where I'm broadcasting live right now. And these shows replay, as do many of my shows over the last 20 plus years. They're all in the stream for you. So you can hear my background. You can hear me talking to people. You can hear me educating you or whatever you'd like to know. And I talk about the wicks of wisdom. I talk about nutritional supplements. But today I want to talk about channeling. So I mentioned readings, which is where I give predictions and help you in your career, your love life, your finances, whatever. The healing, where I get rid of emotional pain, block, obstacles, whether you were abused, confused, if you were molested, whatever. Or you might be grieving the loss of a dog, and more pain came from the loss of a human, because we all hurt when we lose somebody or something. It took me over a year just to get over the loss of my dog last year. It took me 3.5 years to get over the worst pain of my mom 14 years ago. So today I want to bring on a woman by the name of Alner Smith, and you're going to meet her. She not only lost her ex-boyfriend that she met when she was 15. She's now in her 30s. But she had 3 children with this man. 2 of them are deceased. So she called for a reading. Then we did the channeling, where I brought in all 3 of their spirits. Then she asked for the healing. So you're going to hear from her experience of my gifts in helping a woman who's gone through more loss in a very short period of time than I can remember working with somebody. It's bad enough and hard enough on one person to lose, or an animal, but here she had the boyfriend and the father of 3 of her kids, and 2 of them passed. And I'll let you hear from her what happened. Let's bring Honor on and say hello. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Okay, good to see you.
You too. I love the multicolor hair. My hair was more like the blonde when I was in high school. I had that color hair in 11th and 12th grade. And I used to say I had different color hair long before Cyndi Lauper in our day. But, Honor, it's been a pleasure getting to meet you. It's been a pleasure working with you. And I invited you to come on because you have such a unique story of pain, growth, healing, and you give people hope. You give a lot of people hope. You're strong. I mean, it's only 2 months that you lost him, but even though you were split up and you're with somebody else now, but it's still emotional. I mean, it's your past. He was the father of your children. Why don't you take over, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, how you lost your people, and we'll go step by step.
Okay, I'm Elner. I'm 30 years old. My ex is Jano, and I met him way in high school. At 16, we were together for 7 years before we broke up. But we were best friends. Like, we was best friends. Like, it was just an instant connection. But we were totally opposites. Like, total opposites. So in 2012, I got pregnant. That was our first son. We can call him Baby Jano. Well, that's what my family calls him. Everybody calls him Baby Jano. But I was hit by a drunk driver on Mother's Day 2012, and he passed away.
Because the water or your placenta broke, right?
Correct. So,
and by the time you got to the hospital, he was already gone.
Yep. Yes. So then shortly after
did the drunk driver realize, wait, slow down. Did the drunk driver know that he hit you and what happened to you and the baby? Did he know at the time? Did you go after him? Was it hit and run, or did he get caught? What happened?
At the time when the accident happened, we was in a neighborhood. I had just left my mom's house, going to work actually. And it was an intersection, a 4-way stop. Well, 2-way stop. I didn't have a stop sign. He had a stop sign. He ran a stop sign they say it was 100 miles per hour.
Oh my God.
And it completely obliterated my Toyota Corolla.
You're lucky you survived that.
I was surprised. When I saw the pictures, I was definitely surprised. And it's so interesting because I smelled gas and my whole body hurts so bad. Like,
of course you brace and you everything gets bruised and the tension of the muscles.
No, I couldn't even brace because I didn't see it.
Wow. So you got tossed around and every bone in your body shakes and your muscles become bruised and your adrenaline's high and you're in shock. Go on.
And I remember smelling gas and I was like, I got to go away from the car before it blows up. And some Hispanic men, now no one else, I asked my mom, the police, nobody else I've seen these Hispanic men help pull me away from the car. And
that's called an earth angel. That's called an earth angel. They pop up out of nowhere. You never see them again. They do their job. They disappear. I've had it twice. They're called earth angels. It's real. You see it. You look around and he's gone, right?
Yeah.
That's an earth angel. I had something happen to me back in the 90s or 80s. I think it was the 80s. I was driving on a freeway here in Los Angeles and some huge plastic thing got caught underneath the wheelbase of my car. So I pulled over to the side of the road on the freeway, and out of the blue, this man looked like an Adonis, like he rose from the sea of gorgeousness, popped out of a BMW, said, "There's a gas station off the next exit." I said, okay, I turned up. He was gone. I didn't see the car. Wow. I didn't see him. And it was like, wait a second. But I got to the gas station safely, just like you got to the hospital safely. Those are called earth angels. You don't see them, but God puts these people, well, they're really angels, but they look like people. That's why they're called earth angels. You probably get chills as I say this. So he rescued you because it was not your turn. Keep going. Wow.
Called my mother, told her where I was, and she came rushing over. And in the car he was in, the man that hit me, his name is Ashton Craven. He actually had been released from prison right like maybe a month before then,
Oh, geez.
because he previously was on a freeway racing, and it was a family on the side of the freeway. He hit their van, killed their 9-year-old child.
Oh, no. Oh, see, we didn't talk about
Yes.
this part when I was talking to you.
Yeah.
This is getting more detailed.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
geez.
never talk about him. I never talk about it. Like, it's the first time I ever said that out of my mouth. Like, I knew it in my head, but it's the first time I said it out of my mouth.
Well, thank you for trusting me in the show to do that, because the truth always sets you free. Go on.
So in his car, he was a driver. He had his friend on the passenger side, and his friend's daughter, she was 5, in the back seat. And the little girl was not in a seatbelt. So from the impact, their car was totaled too. From the impact, she got her front teeth knocked out, but she was okay. They said she didn't have anything else going on with her.
Boy,
She
is
was
she
okay.
lucky. What about him? Did he get hurt, or the passenger, his friend?
The passenger, his friend, I never heard anything if he was injured or not. But Ashton had a little scrapes and stuff, but he was really high.
It still haunts him
So
today. You are
he was
so lucky.
high.
You got a big angel out there. So that was your first angel when you lost your son, little Janelle, baby Janelle. Then you got pregnant again a year later.
Yes, 2013. My daughter Shanae, my little diva. Yeah, she's
She's just
10.
like you.
She really is. She definitely is. Yeah.
Go on, tell the
But yeah.
story about Janae.
Shanae, that's my rainbow baby. She's amazing. Because I was so sad, and Janelle's mom, he was like, "You guys should have another baby," and I was like, "Okay." So for her, like, she took me out, like, being pregnant with her really took me out of that deep, dark space I was in, because I didn't like, just breathing hurt, like, just being here hurt so bad.
Oh, you were
because
grieving the loss of your unborn child.
Mm-hmm.
It's one
So Shanae,
thing
that's my baby.
to have an abortion or a miscarriage, but you were carrying full term. He was almost ready to be born, and he died upon impact because I guess you hit the because you hit the steering wheel. We'll get to the questions later, please. Go on, talk more about Shanae.
Yeah, Shanae, she looks exactly like her dad, but she acts like me.
I
She's
said that
very
in the reading on the
creative.
phone, right? I said she's just like you.
You
Go
sure
on.
did. So yeah, that's my little princess. And so around the time Shanae was 3, we got pregnant again. 24. No, actually Shanae wasn't even 3 yet. She was like 1 and some change. 2014, we got pregnant again. That was a complete surprise. Baby Chanel. So with Chanel, I was completely surprised. Didn't even know I was pregnant. By the time I went to the doctor, they was like, "Oh, okay, this is how far along you are." Okay, great. So we going through the pregnancy. I go to at this time it was still early, so I only went once a month, because it was like first and second trimester once a month. So one of the visits, the doctor, it kind of made me nervous still. So the doctor, she was doing an ultrasound, and then she was like looking extra hard, and she left out really, really fast. And I was like, "Oh Lord, something wrong. Oh my goodness." Because I still had that pain from before. So I'm like, "Oh my goodness, something going on." So she go out, she get another doctor. They both looking at the ultrasound. Turns out Chanel had anencephaly. So the top of her skull, it's a neural tube birth defect. So the top of her skull didn't form all the way. So she was like a regular baby looking normal, but she had a piece of her brain just, out.
Didn't develop.
So we were looking at different options, because I'm like, I want to have my baby. I want her here. Like, what options of survival? Like, what can we do? But we went to all different kind of specialists. I'm here in Houston, so we have like a super awesome, amazing medical center. We went to specialists downtown, but they said if she does survive the rest of the pregnancy, when she got here, she would just be a body.
Like a vegetable, because there'd be no mental stimulation because the brain wasn't formed
Yeah.
properly. That's so
Hmm.
sad.
And because they would
Wow.
have to like cut that part and like put like some type of cap to close her skull. It just,
Oh my God, Honor.
yeah, yeah.
But
So
go
that
on,
was
tell
really
the
hard.
audience what happened.
So Chanel, I was expecting her to pass. I was too far along to end the pregnancy. I only had, at that time, we only had like a week before we could legally end the pregnancy. But it couldn't even be in Texas. We would have to go to a different state to do that. But yeah, Janelle rode motorcycles. Yeah, he always rode motorcycles. And the night before we were supposed to, go travel across states to end the pregnancy, he got into a motorcycle accident.
Oh my God.
Yes. It was very serious. At that time, he broke half it. When I went to the scene, his arm was literally out of his skin. Like that was a lot. And so he had like broke like the top part, like
Of a
opposite side.
shoulder.
Yeah, the clavicle, the shoulder, the arm, and then the opposite side, his legs, hips. He had to learn to walk
He's lucky
again
he
with canes in
survived
him.
that.
Exactly, exactly. Remember in the reading when you said something was different after something happened?
Yeah,
It
but
was
I don't
after that
remember everything I say to people. People remember the reading because to me it just channels, it just flows. Go on, because when I'm connecting to spirit, as you know, it went very quickly. But
Yeah.
repeat what I said.
You were saying during the reading that he was different. Something happened and it changed him in like his brain, the
Yep,
chemistry in his brain. After that accident, I think it was the accident that did that.
probably. He had a near-death experience. He probably woke up a little more spiritual. He was more grateful. He was a little less
Mm-hmm.
rambunctious and wild. He started to calm down.
Yes. Yes, he
So you
did.
had that trauma after losing
So
your first baby. Then you got your daughter. Now you're pregnant again. This one had a brain problem. Go on.
so he had his accident the night before. So of course, I I'm there by his side in the ICU. So I didn't go through with going across states in a pregnancy with Chanel.
Nope.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, this is not a coincidence.
Nope. God
Like
had a
this.
plan for something.
Mm-hmm. So when finally he woke up, he was able when he was able to speak, he was surprised I was still pregnant. And so we went through, the whole recovery process for him. During that recovery process for him, I was still going through the pregnancy. So I was at that time I was falling deep into depression. So I was throwing myself into work. And I was kind of like hiding from my family because I'm like, how am I gonna tell them this? Because they didn't know, they just thought it was regular pregnancy. They didn't know that Chanel had that going on with her.
A deformity.
So we get to the end, and the doctor's like, she made it the whole 40 weeks. I was expecting her to pass during. She never did. So we get to 40 weeks. The doctor's like, okay, we're going to have to deliver her. It's time. So I call my family, and I tell them everything.
There could be a problem.
Yep. And so we go to the hospital. They induce me. We go to have her. She comes. My whole family is there. When she comes, she cries. She cried.
She was alive.
Yeah. So what the specialist was saying, she wasn't gonna have that ability. She did. And her eyes were, she looked like she came out and like it wasn't like a baby closed like eyes. No, her eyes were open.
Wide open. And I said something. I remember that in the channeling that she stared at you,
She
even though a
did.
newborn doesn't do that because most babies, for those that don't know, but they probably do, can't really focus or see for the first 2 months of their life. It's just started to focus. But this little girl came out totally aware, beat the odds. Go on, tell the story.
Yep. And she was
She
just looking
stared
around
at
the
you.
room. She stared when she stared, I was holding her and I was like, hi, I'm mommy. And I just like, like this is my new baby. And she looked at me with her big brown eyes and she was like, she was looking through my soul. And Janelle was like, "Do you see that, Eleanor?" That's how he talked. Do you see that, Eleanor? And I was like, "Yeah, I see it. You see it." And she's just looking around the room and looking at everything. And I'm thinking to myself, like they said this was impossible, but it's happening. Like she came out, she cried, she looked normal. Besides, that part, like she acting like a regular baby. Okay, so My family sees her. We call the pastor to bless her. And, everybody spending their time with her, taking pictures. Shanae meets her. And we're like, this your baby sister. And we got some pictures of them together. And they look just alike.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So in my mind, I always wondered if she would have, would they still look alike?
Yeah, they would. But let's
Okay.
finish
So
the story,
she
because you've
lived.
got your boyfriend, you lost your son in the car accident, and you had a daughter, and you got pregnant. Then there were complications, and then came like another angel. Go on.
Okay. So Chanel, she lived 10 days. She was born December 8th. She passed away December 18th. But in between there, she had closed her eyes for a few days, but the last day, on the 18th, her eyes was wide open again.
So she could say goodbye and look at you one more time and give her your love and feel
And we
it.
did that.
And she left.
Mm-hmm. In my arms.
So you have 2 kids now on the other side. You're still with Janelle. Go on.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Okay, so we're still together. And
what year is this? About 2014, 2015? Where are we now?
It's the end of 2014 because she passed December 18th. So going into the new year of 2015, that's the year that me and Janelle broke up. He was going through whatever he was going through. He still wasn't able. He had to learn how to walk again and everything else. So the financial stuff was on me. So I'm working 2 jobs to make sure that the house is good, we good, everything good. But during that time, he just was going down.
He's rehabilitating and trying to figure out his life and what it means and how to function and how to walk and learn and talk.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry had already lost his son, and now he's lost his daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we broke up. It was a lot. He was just drinking a lot, like a lot. And I would mention that to him. It was one night in particular where I came home at 3 a.m. and Shanae was up by herself. Yeah, only the bottom lock was locked. I come through the door and she's in her fake kitchen. She's like, "You want those spaghetti?" And I'm like, "What? No, why are you up, girl?"
Yeah, she had no clue. And Daddy was out to lunch. Yeah, he was inebriated and not being responsible. I get it.
Passed out sleep. And at that point, I woke him up and I was like, like, Shanae is up. She could have went outside. It's 3 a.m. Nobody gonna know, like this and that. And he just was so out of it. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. So that's when we broke up. And I did the whole single mom thing. And he did whatever he did, So fast forward, co-parenting, we were just doing that. And then, he just I didn't know he was spiraling, like whatever he was dealing with. I didn't know that because I was
it's called hitting
so
bottom, and he was using alcohol as his fix. That's on our Wednesday show, Recovery Wednesday, if you ever want to tune in. For anybody in the future, it's what we do is help people who are addicted, but we talk about the signs and the afflictions, but that's the only way he knew how to cope with the devastation around him, and he didn't know how to deal with his emotions. Go on. You're doing great. I don't know how you're not crying. I'm on the verge of tears, but go. You're holding back. I know you are.
He kept spiraling, but I didn't know. Like, I had my suspicions, but I didn't have any confirmation. So Shanae would see him every other weekend like he was supposed to. And then, like, it was certain things, little things that would happen. And I'm like, this not making sense. And then from those things, then it'd be financially. So, like, okay, you supposed to do this for Shanae. You didn't do it. It's fine. I'm going to do it. But then it kept escalating. So I'm like, where your money going? You going to work? Where your money going? This and that. So turns out he developed a new problem. Trying to cope with drugs.
Okay. Drugs.
Yeah. And I had my suspicions because he started to look different. Then he was usually
the drugs will make you look gaunt or lose weight, and the skin changes color.
Yeah.
All sorts of stuff. Appetite changes. Attitude changes.
Yeah, he started lying. Yeah, those things that you just said, and he started lying. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So it was something that happened. He left some stuff around the house. So when he would go with Shanae, he would go to his brother's house. And his brother's girlfriend, she found some stuff around the house that the kids could have got access to. So I'm
Drugs?
like, yes. So she called me. She let me know, hey, this was, what happened. And that was my confirmation there. So that's what I told him. I said, you need to get yourself together. Get yourself together. You know, get together. We're going to revisit this. And so I was only focused on parenting Shanae, doing this right, being financially stable, making sure everything's good. And so what he's doing over there, I have no idea. So, I can't speak on what he was doing, but he would go in and out of contact with his family and going down the drug addiction path, basically, and his brother would try to help his family would try to help him. This is the thing I'm finding out after he passed, like they were trying to get him together, help him out. He would try and go back and try and go back. But this last time before he passed, he was on the right path.
Okay, back up because we haven't gotten to his passing. We were
Okay.
talking about the stories. The people
Yeah.
listening need to know you lost your son. He has an accident. You lost your daughter, who was born with a deformity, who outlived the prediction of possibility of surviving and maybe not even crying. And here she opens her eyes because it's spiritual. You're connected spiritually. There's a God-given thing going on here. Then we hit 2015. Then he's starting to go down the drug path. Now we're in 2023. You have been with another man because you met somebody new and your love life got on track and you did the financial thing. You became the responsible mom and the responsible citizen. Go on.
So yeah, that's my love, my new love, my only love. Well, second love. And we had our own kids. We had 2 kids together. They were both a surprise, actually. So we was doing the whole family thing. And then fast forward 2023.
Yeah, 10 years later.
Yep. July 9th or July 10th at night, Shanae's like, well,
just
actually
2 months ago, as of this broadcast, people, 2 months ago, it's September 21st, 2023. Normally we don't date stamp a broadcast, but in this situation, so you can get the perspective of what Alner is discussing, it's only been 2 months that her first real love and the father of 3 of her children passed away. He was getting sober, getting his life together, and what happened? He died of drugs.
July 11th, he passed away. I got a phone call early that morning that, he drowned in the pool. And it's like, that's impossible because he is an expert swimmer. No, that's not right. But yeah, that's definitely what happened. And
was he loaded or drunk at the time?
His brother had got him clean, so he was, as far as we knew, I didn't know at the time until afterwards, but as far as everyone knew, he was clean, on the right path. But his girlfriend that they say he was breaking up with that night, she was still doing those things, so that's why he was breaking up with her. And so, it's speculation there of how, she was passed out.
So you didn't do an autopsy to check to see if there were drugs in his system or alcohol?
We're waiting for it to come back. We're still waiting for it to come back.
Yeah,
but
because when I did the channeling,
blood thinners, so yeah. So I'm wondering, was it a clot, and then that's how, or was it he relapsed and that's how?
You'll find out.
Yeah.
Okay, so take a breath. You've gone through 3 losses. You have 3 children. You lost 2 children. You're only 30 years old, girl. You've lived 9 lives. Yeah. You've lived 9 lives. Okay, so you got something out there watching over you with something for you to teach these kids and to give to other people and be of service on a spiritual level. So you start watching Storm Monroe. You find me. You called me because you'd see me even prior to that YouTube channel. And you decided you wanted a channeling session. Fast forward to August, because you called right after Janelle died, I said, you got to wait 30 days. Because as a medium, for those that don't know, the soul of an animal or a human, once it crosses over through death, it takes about 30 to 45 days to settle. A true medium will not just jump in and start channeling without giving that soul time to adjust and rest and prepare itself if it wants to come through and disclose information to this physical realm. So we waited, we booked the appointment. Go on.
And I was anxious the whole time. I'm like, oh my gosh, 28 days, 27 days, 26 days. So I booked the appointment, and right away, like as soon as you was like, oh my goodness, this guy talks a lot. He did talk a lot. He did. He was a jabbermouth. So when you said that, I was like, yep, that's him. And then you said there's a little boy standing here. Oh, actually, he came through whenever I was on the phone trying to book the appointment.
Oh,
and
that's
you said
right.
there's a
Before
little
I
boy
even knew
standing
what
here.
I was doing or who you, yeah, that's right. You wanted one, but I didn't know there were going to be several. Go on. Yeah, tell us. I forget all the details. Go on.
Yeah. So you said there's a little boy standing here, and I'm like, oh, this is me.
Yep.
It's a little boy.
Yeah.
Like, that's my baby. That's my son. Like, he's there. And and then Chanel.
Oh, we lost you on her.
Oh, okay. We
lost your picture. You can keep talking. Phone. You can keep talking.
Okay. And so when you say my son, I was just so surprised because, like, wow, how did she know this? I never said this. I never mentioned him. Wow. Okay, so
so I wrote down 2 names, 2 birthdays, and 2 dates of death, and then you said, well, and then I think that's how I found out about your daughter. I forget how it came about. Can you not figure out where your video went? Because I miss seeing you here.
Okay, let me see. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on mute or if it just went off. There you are. There you go. We're back. Hello. Hi. Can you see me?
Okay.
There we go.
I can see you.
So, all right. So we brought in Big and Little Janelle, not knowing that's what was going to happen. Then how did we discover your daughter? Go on.
And so I was like, well, if she could see baby Janelle came through, maybe Chanel's there too. So then I asked you about Chanel, and you was like,
and I said, Amanda, yeah. And I said, what's her name? What's her birthday? When did she pass away? And I thought, oh my God, only 8-10 days or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yep.
So then we had the appointment.
And when you were talking about baby Janelle, and I just told my cousin this the other day because she didn't know. I didn't tell her yet. When you described my room, you told me that he just sits in the room and he just watches me. And you described my room. I was like, it's no way. Nobody knows what my room looks like. Wow.
I don't remember. What did I say? What does the room look like? I mean, when I'm working, I'm in another world, literally.
You told me, you were like, he sits over at a desk, like, or something. It's brown. It has drawers, like 5 drawers. And I'm like, I'm counting in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How did she know? So that means my baby, he's here. He's here. And the things you were asking, like you were saying, I always wondered in my head, in my mind, but I never said it out loud to anybody. What would he look like? What would he be like? What would be his favorite color? What would he want to do?
Of course, you want to know him.
Yeah. And you answered all those things. You told me he would have been in Boy Scouts. And it was so amazing to me. Like, even still, like, ever since that reading, I'll look over at the desk. And I'll be like,
hey, and you can tell that they're there. You can feel it. I picked up a piano. I picked up cats or dogs. I mean, go on.
Yeah. So you said that Janelle, Big Janelle, that he's playing the piano. So when he was a kid, his mom and his dad had them take piano lessons. So they had a huge piano. And so it was so funny. He would tell me stories about when he was little, how he didn't want to practice, and his mom would get on to him.
Like all of us.
And you mentioned the cat. When he was in Germany, he loved this cat, and the cat died. So Yeah, and it's like, oh my
The
gosh,
cat was
he
there
couldn't
in the
even.
reading because the cat's with him. They're all together in the spiritual world. Mm-hmm.
And the dog, he had a giant
I brought up
dog.
the dogs. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. And you told me that Chanel wants to be reincarnated, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I want more kids. And you was like, I don't think she's gonna come to you. And I'm like, oh, I think you say she's gonna come to someone close to me if she does, and it'll be like maybe around 2 years, something like that. And I'm like, okay. And you told me she was a very strong soul, an old soul, and she would have been very powerful. She would have made a mark on the world. And I'm like, okay, that sounds
Well,
like
just
her.
like
Like
she
she
did
was
to you those few days she was alive, beating the odds
definitely,
of the medical world. Mm-hmm.
definitely, yeah. In my mind, I always wonder, like, man, I could, like, would she still have been able to function, or would she just have been a body, like they said? Because they was wrong about everything else. So,
Well, whatever it was, she didn't stay. She had to go. So she was here to say, I love you, thank you, I am real, and I'm gone. But she's still around you as a guardian angel. She still protects you. So does her brother. So does your ex boyfriend, the father of these two children, and the one who you have alive that you're raising. And he watches over, they all watch over your boyfriend now and the other two kids. So you still have three children. You're just moving forward. You have never stopped loving these people. You've gone through your own grief. You've pulled yourself out from some of the depths of despair that a lot of people never recover from. And I have worked with people that will not let go of the fact that there was a death or that they're not coming back. Somehow you've learned to deal with grief, handle grief, move forward, get in another relationship, keep going. But after we did the reading and the channeling, then you wanted a healing. So you
yes,
called back and we did
ma'am.
a
Yes.
healing. Why don't you talk about that? Then we're going to bring all of the experiences from August into a little ball that you've experienced metaphysically from the other side and this side, plus internally, to help you release pain or suffering or insecurities or whatever. Why don't you talk about that?
So we did the healing, and you told me it was in my chest, my heart. You told me something, a chakra in my stomach or something. You told me a lot of different places.
Yeah, all over the body.
um,
Yeah. All the organs,
and so,
tissues, and muscles.
so we did the healing, and I followed your instructions, and then even afterwards, and it was like after the healing, because I had my anxiety was so bad, I was scared to live life every day because I'm like, oh my gosh, who's gonna die next? Like, I was scared to love. I was scared to live. I was scared for my family to live because I'm scared, something gonna happen. Somebody gonna leave me next. And so after that healing, that anxiety has gone down tremendously, tremendously. And it was so like maybe the next day in the evening time, I used to have like this pressure, like a pressure on my stomach all the time. But after that healing, it was like it was gone. I'm not gonna say like it was gone. It was gone. It was like I can breathe.
Yeah.
I can breathe. I'm
Everything
not
you were
scared, worried
holding
all
with
the
the
time.
grief, the anxiety, the fear was compounded in your lower, like the upper intestinal area, which is when I went through. For those that don't know, when I do healing work, the person's laying down on a sofa or the bed, phones in their ear, and I take them like I did Honor through an experience using color, breathing, and words. That's it. I just teach her how to breathe after I say a few words, and then she lets go. And once we got into the rhythm, about 40 minutes later, I said, okay, just hang out there for about 15 minutes. We'll talk tomorrow. Next thing I know, hey, hi, I'm doing great. I'm like, whoa. And then 2 days later, I got an email saying, my stomach ache's gone. And I wrote back, it's like, go on, keep going. Because now you're a month
Mm-hmm.
and 6 weeks later.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And like it's like, that pressure is gone. This is really interesting. Like even like my lady parts, like it's even different now down there too.
Yeah, you
Yeah. And I'm
having a
like,
little bit more
okay.
stimulation and fun again.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because remember, we talked about motherhood, sexuality, femininity, pain, gratitude. I mean, all the different words, but it's for people that don't know. I go through the whole body and I never know what I'm going to be doing until I'm with the person. And then psychically, I start tuning into different things and I'll say, okay, take a deep breath in of orange. And I tell them where to put it in the body. Or it might be, like I said at the beginning of the show, it could be the penis, the vagina, it could be the ears, it could be the eyes, it could be the liver, the kidneys, the spleen, the lungs. You don't know. I don't know until I get in there. But once I'm in there and I move everything around, now you got a sex life again. Now you're getting your libido back. So you're horny. Good for you. So your boyfriend must love that. You're feeling good after 4 or 5 kids. Good for you. I'm glad to hear that. That's a good testimony
too.
Oh, I bet he did.
Yeah, he definitely noticed the change. In every way, not just that part, the other parts too. Because I was so scared all the time. I would have these thoughts and they like had these scenarios and stuff in my head. That stopped tremendously too. And so like and it just goes away. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, nope. It's fine. It's like, oh, okay. It's
mind, body, like spirit, right on there? The mind, like body, spirit.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, I'm glad. Sure.
So the next 50, 60 years of your life, you'll have bumps in the road, but the worst of the coagulated trauma is out of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to help you. I mean, you found me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, who knows how long it's been since that show ran. And then you find me years later online and here we are now. It's like when the student's ready, the teacher appears. You were ready. You were ready. Mm-hmm. And anybody who's listening and watching, if you're ready, you can always reach me off the air at lindasalvin.com. Or if you need a healing or you want to channel somebody, just go to lindasalvin.com. Now, Misty earlier popped up with a question regarding the deceased loved ones. Can we see that question again, please? Because now, so this guy has a speeding and addiction problem, and he caused the death of more than one child. It appears to be that he did. It was a very sad story, but the thing is, she's here to talk about it. Even though she lost her ex-boyfriend, and 2 of her children, the alcoholic driver, whose own niece, was it the niece that was in the car?
It was his friend's daughter. So his friend's daughter.
Okay, so yeah, okay, but it still is irresponsible. She wasn't strapped in. He was drunk. Hits you. She gets hurt. Lost her teeth. They're all lucky to be alive. Unfortunately, you lost your son, but that's on him now. What you had to deal with is totally different. It's a very sad story, but the beautiful part is you're here. There's a purpose. You're happy. You have love. You've gotten more kids, and you're helping other people in business, and you're going to make other opportunities come alive. Of course, it was a near-death experience. Of course, it was near-death. Did you have, that's a good question. Was the baby moving when the accident? Could you feel him in
before the accident? He moved all the time. But then from the impact, like, I don't know. At the hospital, when the doctor asked me, did I feel him moving? I didn't feel anything. Like there was one time when I felt like a flip
a jolt thing. Yeah,
but that was it. I didn't feel anything else after that.
And you didn't know?
I didn't know. But in my mind, he's fine. He's just going to sleep. He's fine.
Right. So what were you, like 9 months already pregnant at that time? Like, would he have been born soon?
6 months. Almost 6 months.
6 months. So you still had 3 months to go. So country wants to know how you made it through all this. Well, we know that God and faith and pain and tears and depression, anxiety. Talk about the lows, which you mentioned before you got pregnant again, because you'd hit your own bottom of not knowing what to do. Talk about some of the hardships.
Definitely when baby Janelle passed, it was like, it was so dark. And for me, like nobody really knew. Like years later, people still didn't know, like, okay, she's still depressed about this, because I was still, but it wasn't real. Like at first it was definitely awful.
It's surreal. No. Plus you'd been in like a near-death situation where you were almost killed in a car, and you smelled the gas and you hear the impact. And when you're in a car accident like that, you don't know what's going on. Did you experience the white light or hear the voice of God or Jesus, or did you see anything, or did you just get out of the car and the paramedics were there to help you get to the hospital? What happened at the scene?
As soon as the impact happened, I never saw it, but the impact happened. My body hurt so bad, but somehow I was able to like jump my door open a little bit.
And that's when your earth angel was there.
Exactly. And I was like, I gotta get away from this gas. The car gonna blow up. It's like I kept hearing in my head. And that's when the Hispanic guys, they just, nobody else saw them.
No, they're not supposed to. It's there for you. When we see the earth angels, nobody can see them but us. They appear for you or me or anybody in a similar situation, like I explained when I was in the car and that plastic thing got underneath my wheelbase. They pop up, or you look again and there's no trace. And it's like, am I imagining things? And you question.
And I remember the EMT was like, how did she get out of the car?
They don't understand it. Some of them do, but they're also on guard trying to do their job that they don't have time to think, oh, probably an earth angel. But there's books out and there's magazines out of people writing about their earth angel experiences. You just have to look for them. It's been years since I used to subscribe to some, but they're out there. But I wanted to bring you onto the show to help you give yourself more credit for all this horrible grief and pain and suffering that you've gone through with loss after loss after loss. And then, like he asked, how did you get through it? What do you think made you get up every day? Because you had another daughter to take care of? Was that part of the motivation to keep going, even though you were dragging your own ass?
When baby Janelle passed, the depression after that with Shanae, like she was my everything. Like I had a birthday party for her every 6 months. But then after, and so like after Chanel passed, that was a lot tougher.
Of course.
Like, I literally didn't leave the bed for a week. I did not. And he didn't know what to do. He called my mom. He was like, she's still not getting out the bed. I wasn't eating nothing because it's like I couldn't breathe.
And depression. That's shock and depression. That's all the shock and depression and the grief. It flatlines you. That's very normal. But slowly you started to get up, and slowly you knew the sun was going to rise just as it was going to set. We only have a few minutes left in this broadcast, and Alma, you've been such an enlightenment to me over the last 2 months talking to you offline, not just for business or for services. But in closing, what would you say to the person listening or watching that goes through tremendous grief and loss like this?
I would definitely say that you can make it through anything. You literally can, because I done been through it. Even in my childhood, I've tried to, and you said that before in your reading, like you didn't even know me. You tried to do these things to yourself. I tried to kill myself 5 times.
Oh, that's right. I did bring that up. I saw that too. Yeah, I did. That's my gift. So if people want to know things, I mean, I'm going to tell the truth and I'm going to shock people with my gift. But on the other side, it heals. It helps you become whole.
Stronger. You can make it through anything. It's nothing you can't make it through. It may hurt so deeply to your soul at that time, but you can make it through.
And do you think God played a big part in that? Did you have faith? Did your faith develop? Got stronger,
yes,
didn't it?
Did. Absolutely. Yes, it did.
Has it strengthened even more since the processes with the channeling and the healing?
Yes, it has. And I'm like looking at things real different now. It's like,
remember I said the sky will be bluer and the grass will be greener and you'll watch for butterflies, right?
Exactly. Yes.
This has been great. I have to start closing the show. You stay on the phone or we're going to take off the air in just a moment, but stay what's called backstage and I'll talk to you in a moment. This is Dr. Linda Salvin. You've listened to me interview Eleanor, who came to me about 2 months ago, people, in a devastated state, but she was ready to confront the pain and the loss of her ex-boyfriend that passed in July, and she had to wait till August for the session. But then we found out there were 2 other children that had died. I brought all of them in. I said I normally don't do party lines, but I did. So the opportunities for you to heal, whether it's your own loss, grief, if you want predictions, you want to know where you're going in life, you want to understand your love life, your finances, your spiritual growth, if someone on the other side is available to communicate with you, please contact me at lindasalvin.com or email me at drlinda@lindasalvin.com. That's it for today, folks. I'll see you again next week. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Tell your friends about all the shows. And if you have a story you want to share and you've had readings or healings or channelings with me, by all means, let me know and I'll bring you on to share. Take care, everybody. Have a nice week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed today's program with Dr. Linda. Need a breakthrough of your own? Ready for answers or insights nobody else has? Reserve your own one-on-one in-person chat. Dr. Linda isn't just for other people. Dr. Linda gets results for you. And it's easy. Contact details are on screen now. Just click on lindasalvin.com or call toll-free 888-509-1077. That's lindasalvin.com or toll-free at 888-509-1077.